wanted to do an analysis of game one of the World Chess Championship. So this is between the current champion Magnus Carlsen versus the challenger Jan Nepomniachtchi, and please forgive the pronunciation. So as a challenger, Jan won the opportunity to start off with white. And as you see, the game ended in a draw. The purpose of this video is not to build suspense, but to take you through the game using the chess.com game review, and hopefully we can learn together as we pick up on some of the moves that they played. So currently I'm a premium member of chess.com. I don't have the diamond membership. If you do the diamond membership, they'll explain moves in more detail. I may actually upgrade just to see how their analysis compares to those of Fabiano and Danny from chess.com and GM Robert Hess. So let's go through the game. The game started with e4, and we have d4, which is a book move as well. And so knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to b5. You got the Ruy Lopez. a6, bishop a4, knight to f6. We're still in theory in the book. Castle. So right now, based on the depth of this analysis, white does still maintain a 0.2 advantage. You have bishop to e7, rook to e1. So still in theory, you have b5, bishop to b3, castle, and so h3. Now this says this is the last book move, and you see, like, I played this opening 16 times with a 44% win rate. I've drawn once and I lost 8 times. So it shows that in the master games, white will win 38% if they play bishop to b7, 44% if they play d6, and then 59% if they play d5. So let's see what they played. So Magnus went with knight to a5, and normally knights on the rim are dim, and chess.com shows that it's an inaccuracy, and d6 would have been the best. Let's see what happens. Knight captures e5, best move. Knight captures b3, it's an excellent move, still showing an advantage for white. A capture b3, bishop to b7, d3, and so now we have a pawn pushed in the center with d5. It shows this as a great move. E captures d5, queen captures d5. Now there's a mate and one threat right here, so obviously, you know, this is a chess championship, so that threat will be negated very quickly. So you got queen to f3. It's offering a queen trade, and no rush to take. If you take, you know, you may end up opening up the file for white. So attacking this knight, still advantage for white. Now king to f1 is double exclamation point considered a brilliant move. It's maintaining the tension and still shows advantage for white. And rook f to b8 was the best move, and Magnus found it. Give some support to this bishop on b7. Queen captures, great move. Knight captures. Bishop to d2. Got a pawn push, so pushing on the queen side. Knight back. Rook over is a good move. Consider knight to b4 to be the best move. Alright, so do we exchange knights? No, we don't. Now we take the knight to b4. So swings a rook to protect the pawn. Says that it would have been better to do rook a to c1. And so we're doing some knight shuffling. But this is an inaccuracy with knight to c6. Bishop to e3. Getting pieces in better position. So almost pretty good advantage share of 0.94 for players of their magnitude. See, you got the bishop pair working for black. White no longer has the bishop pair. Magnus, while being down a pawn, these pawns are doubled and these rooks are in the center, connected and in the center. And these rooks are ones on the peripheral, so it's but still an advantage for white at this point. Now this move makes it a draw according to the engine as of right now. So you got bishop captures the knight first, not here. So then pawn captures, so now white has two sets of double pawns. Bishop captures, knight captures. So all bishops are off the board. White's up the pawn, but has two double pawns, so the game's a drawish game. So we're on move 24. We have rook to c6, rook to e1, best move. Knight to f3, it's best move. c3, best move. Knight to h4, best move. Now I started watching probably around move 18, so I didn't quite catch the beginning, but this was, they did take a lot of time at this point to figure out what to do, because you don't want to move king in front of rook to protect this pawn. So it was a matter of like, where does the rook come up and over, or how to handle this. So the rook came up, and it actually says that swinging, and sorry about that, it says that swinging this rook over to d1 would have been a little bit better. So king to f8, good move, but g6 would have been better. I think that move ends up coming soon. So offer a knight exchange, and now the knight attacks the rook. Great move, gets a slight advantage, attacks the knight, and then the g6, which was the recommended move before. Now shuffling the knight, but it still wants this move right here, rook to d1. Alright, so moving the knight back, and then they're getting a little bit low on time, so don't know if that was like just trying to wait to see what black had in mind. f5, attacking the rook, bringing it back. Now this pawn's again protected, and bringing the knight back to e6, knight to g2. Now looking at a pawn breakthrough, they spent a lot of time with this position. No need to triple your pawns, just get the king more active. So considered an excellent move, but h4 was slightly better. Alright, rook to b8, king to d2, so the king's trying to get more active. So you have pawn takes with check, pawn takes, and basically giving up this pawn to help kind of smooth out the game a bit. So gave up the b3 pawn with rook captures. Rook to a2 would have been best, but moving the king over to attack marginally worse, but not by a lot. Rook to b7. Sorry about that. My screen just loves blinking in and out. So we're back. Alright, king f7 in accuracy, but still drawlish. Reconnecting the rooks. So black king is getting more active. The game is even now. Knight to e3 is good, but rook to a2 is considered better. Rook to d7 is an accuracy. Knight to f4 would have been better. And I'm going to have to check my cables. This is getting annoying. Alright, so this is slight advantage with knight to c4. Rook to e7. Are there any kind of like discoveries with having a rook behind the knight? Not at the moment. Knight to e2 is a good move. King can't capture because it's supported, and then maybe you create an outpost, which also strengthens this square right here, stops that push. Rook over, knight back, but it says rook to a4 would have been better, but they're both showing no advantage to either side. Rook to c6, and then knight back. And so at this point, you're going for the repetition. You got rook back to d6, and then knight back, and there you go, a draw via threefold repetition. And so the review shows the accuracy as being 97.5% to 97.6%. So this is how the first game ended. It ended in a draw. So I hope to do a video analysis in this format for each of the games coming up. Thanks for checking it out. Give a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.